Samina mina,
Eh eh,
waka waka,
eh eh,
samina mina sangalewa.
eh eh,
Okay, so Africa. Samina mina, samina mina sangalewa.
You're a good soldier, choosing your battle. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and back in the saddle. You're on the front line, everyone's watching. You know it's serious, we're getting closer, this isn't over.
Football is known for always producing precocious talents. One thing football is also known for is punishing those who do not take it seriously. Football is like a girl, a beautiful bride that loves those she wants to love, but also demands from the people she loves some level of commitment. No, not some level of commitment, a high level of commitment and discipline. And if football isn't given the discipline and commitment it requires and demands, it will leave. Like a thief in the night, it will sneak up on you and disappear. 1 minute you are the darling of everybody, the next minute you are the villain. Welcome to the X's and O's. My name is Miss Daniel Chikwemeka. On today's podcast, I'll be sharing my thoughts on the Lamine Yamal situation. Is he on the right track to success? Am I being overly judgmental and critical of a teenager? Would I have done the things he's currently doing if I had the kind of money and exposure he has? Maybe, maybe not. Lamine Yamal has taken center stage in the last 2 years. Well, 1 year plus, it has been the most exciting young talents from football. From the La Masia Academy, one of the best in the world, Lamine Yamal broke into the scene as a 15-year-old. Before he came to play for Barcelona's first team, there were talks in the Barcelona Academy at La Masia that he was one of the best talent they've seen just after Lionel Messi. When the stories made the rounds in newspapers, my first thought was, yeah, right, we've heard this before. Giovanni Dos Santos, Matteo De La Feo, and the likes. We've heard names that were supposed to be the next Lionel Messi, but never went on to be Lionel Messi. So when I heard about Lamine Yamal, I was skeptical. I'm like, that's never going to happen. But the first day I watched him play, can't remember the year exactly, under Xavi Hernandez, he played from the left, and in like 15 minutes or less that he played, you could tell there was talent. You could see the abilities brewing like a broken dam wanting to burst out. Everything was there, the passing, the vision, the cross, the dribbles, the core that made a footballer great was there. So I was excited. Over 2 years later, almost 3 seasons now, Lamine Yamal has gone from just that exciting teenager to probably one of the best players in the world. At the last Ballon d'Or, he finished second just behind Ousmane Dembele, the eventual winner. So this is not just another teenager, this is an exciting teenager. In an article I wrote last year, I spoke about how I thought Lamine Yamal was going to be a great player. I talked about the talent, which is undeniable, and how he is at 18 a better player than Lionel Messi was at 18. But I also mentioned in that article that we should not be too excited, not because of the talent, but because of discipline involved in being great. The greats like Pele, Maradona, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Karim Benzema, and the likes did not get there based on talent. I'm sure many of you have heard this before, talent is never enough. And for Lamine Yamal, it was clear, talent is never enough. But beyond just talent not being enough, what exactly happened? What exactly happened to that kid who everybody loved to watch and always wanted to talk about, to this loud-mouthed teenager that spews nonsense and acts entitled? I think it's teenage years. I think as a teenager, having access to all of the things Lamine Yamal has access to, it's normal for you to act this way. At 18, he signed a $300,000 per week contract with Barcelona. That is astounding. He makes in 1 week what some people haven't made in 50, 60 years cumulatively on earth. So if you are 18 and you have that amount of money, you've got to have something going on for you not to go off the rails. It also has the football club backing, probably in a way that is ungodly. Lamine Yamal is the golden boy of Barcelona. He was given the number 10 jersey as just 18, a jersey that Lionel Messi iconically wore and made into a statue of success and excellence. The same jersey was given to Ansu Fati some years ago, and then unfortunately for him, Fati got injured and couldn't carry the burden of the jersey. Lamine Yamal was given that jersey at 18, and for the first few weeks after the jersey was unveiled, he sold millions of jerseys because people love him. And if you're going to wear the number 10 iconic jersey of Barcelona, then you must be good. But this season, the expectations and the production have not been at par. Expectations have been off the roof, and production and output have been down the ground. Okay, some would also argue that he has been injured. He hasn't had time to get into match fitness and all of that, and truthfully so, your arguments are right. But we also are beginning to see a kid who thinks he's larger than life, a kid who speaks about himself and the team with the confidence of a man that has seen 20 years in the game. I am not a person who fights against confidence. I think that young people, especially in this generation, are beginning to know that they can do whatever they want to do, and the limitations that stop them are almost non-existent. If you live in a world like ours, where at 15, 16 you can be a millionaire from the comfort of your home, it is not out of place for you to feel braggadocious, confident, and speak as though the world were at your feet. But then there comes a time when you understand that certain things should not be said. Now, some people have said, and I used to be one of the disciples that said, come on, he's 18, he's going to say these things, allow him to say these things. And yes, he is 18, he's going to make mistakes, he's going to go off the rails sometimes, and he'll be brought back in. But the problem with him going off the rails is at 18, and with the things he's doing, he's going to be, or he is in the spotlight more often than a regular 18-year-old would be. And here's the thing about being 18 and being in the spotlight all the time, it is that you can't handle it. You think you can because, of course, youthful exuberance and youthful foul confidence makes you think you can handle it, but you can't. One pressure too many and you're broken. Not just broken into pieces, but broken into smithereens, unrecognizable pieces of dust. That is what you become if you are not careful. And for Lamine Yamal, he's throwing himself at the world, constantly exposing himself to the media, either through his social media posts with women older than him, or through shades at teams when he wants to play against them. And while that can be exciting at 16, 17, it begins to sound annoying and disrespectful and a bit too childish for a man, again, just 18, who wants and demands respect. Like somebody said one time, if you want to be as loud as Cristiano Ronaldo, you have to achieve the things Ronaldo have achieved. You can't just win the league and come second in the Ballon d'Or and think you have a right to say whatever you want to say. In the world of football, like I said before, it is like a bride, a beautiful girl that wants to be loved, cherished, and adored. And if you don't do that to her through discipline and hard work, you would lose out. Several times this season, before his injury that took him out, Barcelona's coach Hansi Flick spoke about how some players were not defending well, and we knew who was talking to. In a rebuttal, if that's the word I should use here, Lamine said, well, it's a new team and it's understandable the coach is going to sound that way. And yes, again, he's 18, he's allowed to speak. But when you speak too much too often and speak nonsense, you begin to sound like a dumb person. What was once exciting and confident begins to sound like disrespectful and dumb. And I think Lamine Yamal is tilting towards that angle too fast and too soon. The good news is he's 18. The good news is he can correct his ways. The good news is he's a freakishly talented footballer. The good news also is that maybe the values that hold Barcelona together would come to play. I saw reports sometime today that Barcelona were looking at ways through Lamine's agent to curb some of his social media activities and his media interviews so that he doesn't get exposed too much. Now, some people might say, let the boy speak. I even heard some Barcelona fans say things like, well, Messi wasn't speaking and he was treated badly. And I'm saying to them, my response to them here is, while Messi wasn't speaking and Messi isn't the ideal, Messi showed us that you can be great and be quiet. Messi showed us that greatness doesn't have to come with being loud. That greatness can also mean humility, and not humility because you're scared, but humility because you respect people. But beyond just Lionel Messi and what he represents, again, he is not the ideal for every footballer, but the Barcelona way is a way of respect. More than a club, what does it mean if you can't respect your opponents? More than a club, what does it mean if your players do not understand the codes of conduct? I've heard stories of Barcelona in their heydays under Pep Guardiola, where certain players could not bring certain cards because it was against the code of conduct. Zlatan Ibrahimovic even spoke about it in one of his many conversations he had with the media, where he said he took, I think, a Lamborghini to training, and Pep was like, "You can't bring this here." Why? Well, here we don't show our wealth. Our wealth is not the first thing that comes to the fore when we call ourselves Barcelona player. Our discipline and our respect for the badge and our excellence is what matters. So, for a football club that over the years has frowned against ostentatious show of wealth, it's funny how they're allowing an 18-year-old do whatever he wants to do. Like I mentioned before, he's just 18, he's going to learn. But he's not going to learn if those who are put in charge of him do not put the reins on him. If they do not keep him in check and create a structure that is disciplined for him, all of these talents would be off the window. Here's the thing, and the crazy part about this whole Lamine Yamal situation is that while he's still active and playing, it seems exciting. But I remind you that there have been players who have also been this exciting and did not exactly go far. Maybe not as exciting and maybe not as much talent as Lamine Yamal, but they didn't go as far as we expected them. The easiest one that comes to mind is Neymar Jr. He did do a lot of things for Barcelona and did do some things with PSG, but he did not reach the potential we thought he could. He was unable to win the Ballon d'Or. Although some would argue that, man, if you had Messi and Ronaldo, there was no way you would win the Ballon d'Or. It shows you that talent is never enough. There are names like Robinho, names like Alexandra Pato, names like Adriano even, who were exciting players and they had immense talent, but they were not disciplined enough to get to the highest level. Some would say, but they didn't have as much talent as Lamine. Yes, they didn't, but the examples of how being indisciplined and uncontrolled and all over the place can lead you. We've seen and heard stories of Lamine in parties. We've seen and heard stories of him with women older than him. We've even heard him talk very recklessly and loosely on media platforms. He's 18, but if you are 18 and this careless, you will not get enough chance to correct your mistakes. While 18-year-olds all over the world can make such careless mistakes like being reckless with their words, they do not have the spotlight. He has the spotlight, and I fear that this exciting talent that I think is one of the best we have seen in a very long time might just go down the drain. I fear that Lamine Yamal might not get to 20% of the height he can reach if he stays disciplined. I'm hoping that Hansi Flick, Deco, Laporta, his agents, and his parents, yes, I'm scratching my head when I call the parents because they have not exactly shown themselves as model parents. Not the father, who seemed to be all over the place with different girls, or the mother, who we heard stories was organizing a meet and greet to get paid for. Again, all of these stories, some of them are not true, some of them are, but in the end, we've not seen the parents raining on him, or maybe they have. I'm not there. I'm not privy to the information that happens in their family. But I'm hoping that the people who we at least know directly, again, through the media and our love for the game, the Laportes of this world, the Decos of this world, the Hansi Flicks of this world, will put a rein on this kid. He's exciting. The sky can be his starting point. But if he doesn't keep quiet, if he doesn't stay disciplined, put his head down and play football, he'll just fade away like all of the different stars I mentioned who never got to their height. Lamine Yamal, you can be the greatest thing that has happened to football in our generation. We need you to be focused. We need you to put your head down, shut your mouth, learn, train, and play football. If you like this, please share with your friends, subscribe to the channel, comment, and just take it to the ends of the earth. Thank you for listening, right, and watching. I'll see you on the other podcast. Have a good day.